Hello guys, today's video is rather unique because we try to expand our conversation from Startup Visa, our priority program, towards many programs we serve people with. And I know that you basically asking many questions on our channels. Maria collected some and I'm ready to answer. So let's see what we have today.
Yeah, Dr. Alex, at anyvisa, we experience a large number of applicants arriving to the border these days. And when they arrive on their approved permanent residency, it is more or less clear. But what if they are arriving on their temporary status and their permanent residence still in the process?
Well, very good question, Maria. I appreciate that because it's actually very timely. Canadian immigration expedited processing on many fronts, on many directions, under many streams. Question is, what to do if you're still in permanent residency processing and you arrive to Canada as a worker, student, or a visitor? Well, first of all, you have to remember about dual intent. Every immigration officer at the border, and don't forget, this is not immigration officer who can ask those tough questions. CBSA officer will ask you first, do you have a right to be here? And if they interested, they can send you to the secondary, well, we call it to the secondary, but it's basically sending you for secondary inspection or secondary screening because they want to see if you actually do not have that dual intent. So the best way is to know that you are in permanent residency process already and know the purpose of your travel. That's probably the best advisory we have. Try to address dual intent without calling it dual intent.
Let me ask me some direct question from our startup visa applicant. When I'm arriving to Canada on my special work permit issued under startup visa program, what do I have to be prepared for?
Oh, very good question. Actually, it's probably coming not from our client. Our clients know everything. We prepare them very well. Maria knows this. But what I'm saying is very good question because people need to know what to expect when they arrive under special work permit. And by the way, that's basically true for every work permit. You have to know where you're going to work. For startup visa specifically, and thanks for pointing out, Maria, this is something unique and rather common for startup visa. People need to know three things. First, they need to know where they're going. They need to know everything about their business in Canada because startup in Canada must exist by the time of their arrival. Why? Because the job offer was sent from the business, not from somebody else. Second thing, they need to know who their designated organization, supporting organization is. If the officer say, oh, that's nice that you under startup visa, who sponsored you? Which incubator? And people sometimes fall in that trap because they're not prepared. They don't know who actually their designated organization. Why? They probably bought some fake deal or something. So be careful. And last, they need to know who their immigration representative is. Why? Well, in emergency situation, if you got arrested at the border, who you need to call? Your lawyer, right? So need to know three things, and that will keep them safe.
What would happen if the applicant cannot respond to those questions?
Well, I guess they can be refused entry and return to their country at their own expense.
What would you say about students and business visitors arriving to Canada while their PR application is still in the process?
Well, it's a very good question, and rather going beyond startup visa application, we're talking about sponsorship cases, we're talking about professional immigration cases, provincial nominee cases. Those people, Maria, must arrive with knowledge of what's the purpose of that particular visit and how they can answer those questions will decide if officer will let them in. Some people completely, and I can tell you, we have tragic history of cases, people calling us and their own lawyers abandoning them, they drop in their cases, they say, well, we don't know you, well, it's your trouble. That's not fair. Our clients always protected. But what I'm saying is, a very good question, they need to know why they're here, what they're going to do, and definitely address the relation between their permanent residency and their temporary stay. And then I guess the variety of options going towards what kind of case they have. Sponsorship, a spousal sponsorship, family sponsorship. Obviously, people can arrive and study while they're waiting for application to be approved, or maybe they're just visiting their loved ones. So that's one case. Another case going to probably, let's say, provincial nominee program people who arrive, but they're not. Maybe they have a visa, but they don't have work permit yet. So they can arrive on a visitor visa, of course, and maybe even are able to change status inside Canada. So they need to know the intention. Remember what I said about dual intent. They need to address that topic.
It's really clear right
Yeah.
now. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much for good collection of questions.
Thank you.